Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is August 19th, 2024. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears the CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage one of 10 major October surprises during the 2024 Democratic National Committee Convention in Chicago, Illinois, between the dates of August 19th, today, and August 22nd, 2024. So exactly what the CIA is planning for this made-for-TV primetime event is obviously not known, but the following 10 scenarios are the most likely. If you go to my blog, 911truther.org, or my YouTube channel, you can see that I've outlined a few of these. So if I'm repeating myself, I apologize, but it's the CIA always executes their assassinations, terror attacks, and wars when people are watching, and everybody's tuning in to the 2024 DNC convention in Chicago because a number of celebrities are going to be making appearances, including Taylor Swift, which I'll get into a little bit later. But firstly, just for the record, it's 100% certain that Kamala Harris will become President Kamala Harris at some point during this convention. Obviously, that means that something will have to happen to one Joseph R. Biden. Based off of reports, he is extremely upset with both Nancy Pelosi as well as Kamala Harris, and so it appears that they will off him somehow just prior to the convention tonight when he's slated to speak, or at some point during the convention. This could come many different ways, the most likely being some sort of an assassination event, some sort of death event. He has COVID and he's struggling from neurological diseases, so that may be blamed. He may suffer some sort of medical related emergency, such as a fall, a heart attack, a stroke. But the most likely scenario is that he resigns during the convention, just prior or just right after, possibly on the date of August 23rd or August 26th, which marks 18,277 days and 18,281 days since Nixon resigned. There's also the possibility that if Biden gets mouthy at the convention, that they'll invoke the 25th Amendment to neutralize him. But for the record, it's 100% certain that Joseph R. Biden will not survive the 2024 DNC in Chicago. Something will happen to him just right before, during, or right after. Thirdly, is riots. The police in Chicago have been getting ready for this. They've already killed, in the last month, they've already killed 3 black people on camera. One a pregnant woman, one a mentally disabled woman, and one a mentally disabled man. So they're probably going to kill a 4th during the convention, maybe under the guise of a security guard, police, or military-related event. But if you haven't been paying attention, Sonia Massey was executed on videotape by a white police officer. And then we have Takia Young, a pregnant African-American, was shot to death in her car in Ohio. And then we have Devontae Mitchell, a black man that was choked to death outside of the DNC convention in Milwaukee last month. So they've created these scenarios, and there's probably going to be a 4th. It's probably going to be a child, maybe a female, and they will use this to basically spark riots all across Chicago and the greater United States, possibly Kenosha, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, etc. Also, Sonia Massey was killed in Springfield, which is just also in the capital of Chicago. So they're getting ready. So they killed Devontae Mitchell in Chicago, Taika Young in Ohio, and Sonia Massey in Illinois. So those are 3 states that are surrounding, one of them being in Illinois, Chicago, and then the other 2 right adjacent to the DNC convention, because they're planning on killing a 4th. And the number 4 is the cross, which is the flag of Switzerland. So they're getting ready to do this, and then this will be Black Lives Matter, Antifa, Black Panthers, and it's going to get crazy. The third most likely scenario is some sort of MAGA attack. So this is they're trying to frame Trump and his followers for attacks, just like January 6th. So could come one of three ways. It will most likely come in the form of an attack on participants of the DNC. There's a number of celebrities that will be going to the event, such as Megan Thee Stallion, Quavo, Beyonce, John Legend, and Taylor Swift, which I mentioned earlier, is slated to fly to the convention and probably will be there on the 22nd. Her tour in London ends tomorrow, on the 20th of August, and so they're going to try to make her the big star of the convention, where she will put her celebrity behind Kamala Harris. So some sort of attack targeting these celebrities is expected, most likely targeting Taylor Swift when she appears at this convention, most likely on the finale, which is August 22nd, Thursday. There's also the high possibility that the CIA is going to stage a MAGA-related terror attack in Chicago or elsewhere. Coincidentally, the McCormick Convention Center, which is one of the largest convention centers in the world, in Chicago, the CIA has executed a number of terrorism drills on this particular convention center, if you will, and it's also adjacent to Lake Michigan. So the CIA is planning on detonating some sort of CBRN-related attack during this convention, and it may be blamed on Donald J. Trump or his supporters. They also may stage some sort of a storming attack targeting the United Center, and they would use the McCormick Center as a launching point. Also, it's imperative to note that the agent provocateur, like Black Lives Matter, Antifa riots, they're probably going to be using the McCormick Center too, because coincidentally it's vacant. So that means that I checked the calendar yesterday and there's no events planned during the DNC, which is kind of, if you think about it, you would think that some sort of convention would be going on. It's summertime, and so it looks like they're going to be using this convention center as a staging point for attacks on the United Center across the city. So the fourth most likely event is that the CIA stages some sort of major earth-changing event during allegedly emanating or originating from the Israel-Hamas war. So this may be a 9/11 style attack, an Iranian nuclear missile. This may be some sort of heinous attack on Jews in Israel. But the most likely scenario is that they're going to try to export the Israeli-Hamas war into the United States. So possibly targeting Wisconsin, possibly targeting Chicago, possibly targeting Minneapolis or Dearborn or Detroit, which has coincidentally the two highest Muslim populations in the United States. So some sort of major Israeli-Hamas war event is expected. The same can be said for the Russo-Ukrainian war. So both of these wars are simmering right now. They're on the burner, if you will, and then they're going to drop some major event during this convention while all eyes are glued to their TVs, and that may be when Taylor Swift appears on the 22nd, the final day of the convention. Number 5 is some sort of mass shooting. So if you'll recall back during the Kenosha riots in Wisconsin a few years ago, when the George Floyd stuff was going on, they staged this, what they called a vigilante attack by one Kyle Rittenhouse, who allegedly gunned down 2 Black Lives Matter protesters in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So some sort of mass shooting is expected, possibly in Chicago, possibly elsewhere. And it will most likely come courtesy of the Israeli National Police, who have a partnership with the Chicago Police Department, and that's why these numbers coming out of Chicago, like for example on July 4th weekend, there was over 100 people shot, because these Israeli terrorists are basically driving around in bulletproof SUVs with Uzis, just mowing down people in the hood. And so some sort of major mass shooting, because they're trying to pass what's called HR 1808, which is basically a draconian gun ban targeting assault weapons in the United States. So they want to, underneath Kamala Harris, when she becomes president, that will be her first order of business, will be to pass gun assault weapons bans and gun confiscation and gun buyback programs and bans on ammunition. That's what they're planning. Okay, number 6 would be a major cyber attack. So this could be targeting airlines, airplanes, the U.S. military. It could be targeting the DNC convention itself. If you'll recall, just last week, the Donald Trump media campaign was hacked. So they're probably going to hack the live feed of the DNC convention and then do something like it'll either be a foreign terrorist organization or some Chinese terrorists or Russian terrorists or ISIS terrorists, but the most likely scenario is that they play some sort of like Donald Trump sex tape or some sort of pornographic, possibly featuring Taylor Swift, who was also previously targeted with AI images, pornographic AI images, but they're planning on staging some sort of major cyber attack, possibly targeting nuclear reactors, missile silos, the stock exchange, banks, financial companies, etc. Okay, number 7 is a major natural disaster. So if you've been following the news, they just staged this huge volcanic eruption in Russia. Who knew Russia had volcanoes? So that being said, the most likely event is some sort of asteroid or comet strike, some sort of volcanic eruption, some sort of major apocalyptic earthquake, possibly targeting the continental shelf in California, some sort of tsunami, flood, landslide, mudslide, sinkhole, possibly targeting a major city. Number 8 would be a chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear event. So the drill, which I mentioned earlier, the terrorism drill at the McCormick place, was for a CBRN-related attack. So basically this will likely be used to spawn a second global biological pandemic and or trigger World War III. So some sort of 9/11 style attack, a missile attack, a rocket attack, a nuclear reactor meltdown or terror event, some sort of biological outbreak, possibly a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, that's a truck bombing or a car bombing, some sort of dirty bomb. And there's also the possibility, like I mentioned earlier, that they're going to blow up some sort of ship or submarine in Lake Michigan, which would create like an explosive-driven tsunami targeting Chicago. So they might swamp the city of Chicago during this particular event. And then number 9 would be some sort of event. So basically, as it appears right now, despite the last 4 years or 8 years of Trump, being indicted, being almost assassinated, being impeached, and all this stuff, they still haven't gotten rid of him. And so right now, as we look at it today, going into this DNC convention, the Republican campaign, from the outside, it looks like everything's, like they got their stuff in order. And the Democratic campaign, on the other hand, looks pretty chaotic because of what happened with Biden and his failure to be able to debate Trump, and then his subsequent abandonment of the 2024 presidential campaign. And then if Kamala, if she's a disaster during this particular event, then they have a real problem. So the reason I'm saying that is because during this event, between August 19th and August 23rd, it's 100% certain that they're going to do something to basically embarrass, to sabotage, or to destroy or neutralize the Trump 2024 campaign. So they may arrest Donald J. Trump, Trump family members, or so-called militiamen or domestic terrorists or whatever for a plot to attack the DNC at the United Center. They may stage an attack in Chicago, Illinois, or the United States during the convention. Donald J. Trump may suffer a heart attack, a stroke, or some sort of medical-related event during the convention. They may assassinate him or his family in a vehicle crash, a car crash, a helicopter crash. But the most likely event regarding Trump and this convention is that they will arrest him for some sort of crime, possibly IRS, tax fraud, embezzlement, bribery, some sort of white-collar crime during this convention, or like one of his confidants or one of his the people in his inner circle. So that's always a possibility. So, and then number 10 is what I published today on my blog earlier, in case you missed it. They're planning on, back on August 14th of 2024, the World Health Organization, which is in Geneva, Switzerland, they declared the monkeypox, they declared an international emergency over monkeypox, which means that they're planning on staging a monkeypox outbreak. One of them was going to be in London today, targeting the Taylor Swift concert, and one is going to be today, tomorrow, or the 23rd or 22nd or 21st, targeting the DNC convention in Chicago. So there was a CIA-spawned smallpox outbreak drill entitled Dark Winter, I believe, and it was for a smallpox, odorless smallpox at a political rally. And so this may be what they blame Trump or his supporters for. They could also blame Iran or Russia or ISIS or something like that. So those are the top 10. I hate to bore you with it, but it's really, really important because the CIA is planning to seize this opportunity during the DNC convention to stage some sort of heinous thing. So, that being said, by August 23rd, 2024, it's virtually certain, 100% certain, that CIA will stage some sort of DEFCON level event, some sort of lockdown, outbreak, or quarantine, martial law and or the deployment of the U.S. National Guard, a national or international emergency, a declaration of war and or World War III by the date of August 23rd, 2024. So in the event that what I've detailed here in this video comes to fruition, I kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.